Dr. Dre 30-minute motivational mixtape. You are in for a treat today, Manna Member. We're going to hear from Dr. Dre. Who wouldn't know about him, right? A famous American rapper, hip-hop producer, and entrepreneur, Dr. Dre has proved himself in the industry. However, here's a little background. Dr. Dre was one of the first artists to popularize gangsta rap. Dr. Dre was born to teenage parents who aspired to join the music industry. In the early 1980s, he performed as a hip-hop DJ and part of the group World Class Wreckin Cru on a local level. In 1986, Dre founded N.W.A, Niggaz With Attitudes. Dr. Dre's LP also produced his first Grammy Award, Let Me Ride, which won the award for the Best Rap Solo Performance in 1994. During that same time period, The Chronic was playing a large role in mainstream hip-hop and was eventually certified as a multi-platinum album. In 1996, Dre left Death Row Records to start his own record label, Aftermath. He released his second solo album of the same name in 1999 and then followed up 2 years later with a #1 album that had a Grammy-winning single. His work as a producer for other artists, including rappers Snoop Dogg and Eminem, whose careers he was credited with launching, had also earned him considerable respect. In fact, he took home the Grammy for Producer of the Year in 2000 largely because of his work on Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP. Dr. Dre would earn 2 more Grammys, both in 2009, for his later work with Eminem. Outside of its headphones and speakers, Dr. Dre found success as a businessman in 2008 by co-founding Beats Electronics with Jimmy Iovine, a music executive. 6 years later, they launched Beats Music, a music streaming service that has been bought for $3 billion by Apple. Now, what would you pay for 30 minutes of advice from Dr. Dre? Luckily for you, Manna Member, we've curated some of the most inspirational tips, advice, and speeches that Dr. Dre has shared. Remember that while listening to their knowledge is the first step, the second and possibly more important step is taking action, even if it's imperfect action. Let's listen in.
Person I'd like to thank is my mom. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but my mom was pregnant with me at the age of 15. Man, she was always told by family, friends, neighbors, or whatever, she's gonna ruin her life and mine. So throughout my entire childhood, being a success was always embedded in my head because those people that were saying that could not be right.
I have the same frustration that I had when I was doing the first album because there's a lot of people out there talking shit about, oh, he ain't gonna be able to do it again, oh, he's falling off. I ain't falling off shit, but diving for it, straight up.
You gotta have your eyes on the prize, you know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, there ain't nothing on this planet I can't do, you know what I'm saying? That's how I feel, and that's why I'm gonna stay at the level I am, you know what I'm saying? On top of everybody, if not one of the best producers in the world, period.
We try to do groundbreaking things, you know, we try to be trendsetters. We never follow suit, we never follow what's going on out there, you know. We try to do the exact opposite or just do something different and make everybody switch over to what we're doing.
The secret to my longevity, I think, is the fact that I'm a perfectionist, you know, and I listen to everybody's shit, you know. I mean, even R&B, I listen to classical music sometimes, I listen to heavy metal, I just listen to everything, you know. And really, I listen to the whack shit more, you know, because I want to know what not to do.
I'm actually leaving this event right when I'm done and going to the studio and getting back in it, you know what I mean? So I'm just trying to give everybody what they want and not give them this new word I came up with. It's called anticipation.
Yeah, my idea has always been to protect my brand and make sure that everything that I do is quality. And it was just hands down the best of its kind, of whatever that may be, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's been my thing from the top. Just make sure that everything that I do is the shit. That's it.
It's not everything that you see in videos, you know? Most people in videos are fronting anyway. I think people are limited because they're very well influenced by people that's around them or people that's in the media, you know? You see somebody criticizing something, you're not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think like that. I'm only gonna do what I like. The record business is exactly what it is. Record business. And you have to take care of both, or they won't take care of you.
First of all, you have to make sure that this thing is for you and it's who you are. and you're built for this, you know, and then you have to give it the passion that's necessary. You know, like I said, I don't do it for the money. The money's gonna come. I do it because of the love that I have for it. You know what I'm saying? If I was a plumber or something like that, I still would make hip hop records. That's how much love I have for it, you know? I feel like right now, I've been in the game close to 27 years, and I've actually thought about this just recently. Out of the entire my 27-year career, there's only been 2 weeks that I've been out of the studio. I've never been out of the studio longer than 2 weeks in my entire career. That's how much love I have for this thing that I do. So that's the thing, just the passion that you have for it, and really, really put your all into it, and make sure that your word is the last word. That way, you don't play the blame game or anything like that. If it comes out hot, it's on you. If it doesn't come out hot, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is to it.
No matter how hard you work in the studio, no matter what you do, you don't know if people are gonna dig it, you know? For me, some of the records that I'm real pumped up on that I do are not the ones that hit, you know? You never know. I do feel like I gotta get in and do my music to the best of my ability, you know? And I feel like I'm my worst critic, you know? If I'm not digging it, it ain't the shit. What I think has to change for people, as far as longevity, is looking at people that have made it in the business. You know, Quincy Jones, people like that. That's my mentor right there, because he started at a young age the same as I did, and he's still doing his thing and having fun with it. You know, it ain't about who has the flyest car, who has the most jewelry. You know, it ain't about that. It's about saving and preparing yourself for when your shit ain't happening no more. You know, because it's going to happen sooner or later. You know, you never know when. You know, when Dr. Dre falls off, if and when that happens, I'm cool. I'll never have to touch another button as long as I live, straight up. I'm cool, you know? And that's what you have to think. You have to say, okay, I know I'm gonna fuck off some money, so let me put this money over here to fuck off, right? And let me save this. Let me save this. Take care of your taxes, take care of all that shit. You gotta make sure you're prepared when the shit gets thick. But for me, it's just fun. I love doing it. I love making music. I love creating. I love listening to it. I love listening to somebody that does something different and creative, because it pumps me up into getting in the studio. And it also makes money. It's gonna better my life and my family's life. So it's all good. You may see people talking about how if they get a lot of money or something like that, they're gonna stay in the ghetto, wanna stay in the projects. That means if you're staying there, you're gonna allow your mother and your family to stay there also. And that's bullshit, straight up, you know? The change has to happen somewhere in your generation. You know, for my family, I'm saving money, and I want my kids to start on another level. I don't want them to start in the projects, no. That means they have to build for their families. If they start at a higher level, you know, their families are gonna get better. That means your generation down the line, they're gonna have a foundation, you know, and I'm gonna set the foundation. Just know your business and know what you're getting into before you get into it, straight up, because this is a fucking dog-eat-dog world, straight up.
Every single time we talk, there's some type of laugh, and I'm talking about a belly laugh.
Right, it's really true.
It's crazy. It's crazy that this is the first time that this has happened for this amount of time. And it still hasn't been taken to its full potential, period. I never remember not having a hustle. Not having hustle, you know? I would go and cut grass just to be able to buy shoes, you know? I came from just like a place where, you know, you had to get out and do your thing if you wanted to have special shoes. So it started there for me, and then it just snowballed on to wanting just to be able to get out and do anything I want and have anything I want, you know? And that's where I think most of my determination started. That drive and that perseverance and dedication to success is just like, you know.
You just can't quit.
I don't like the business aspect of it. I just want to be an artist, but I know I have to make sure my business is right in order for me to be able to do what I love to do. You know, so I have to take care of that, but I don't like it.
I like creating. I had to go out and figure out how to DJ. I taught myself how to engineer and so on. It was just me trying to figure it out and just learning things and picking up different tidbits from people that I admired, you know. And fortunately, I was able to just sit and just like really focus on developing my skill and keep pushing it. I'm still pushing it. I'm still learning to this day because I actually feel like I can be better and I can do better things. But maybe that's just one of the things that drives me to help me out with just a few sentences. I've only been around him a few times here and there, but you know, he'll say a couple of things and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah. Kids are the ultimate form of inspiration. Now you can't fail, you know? You have to get out and do what the fuck you have to do to succeed. At least that's how I look at it, you know? Because you want them to have at least a better springboard than you've had or than I've had, you know what I mean? So, and yeah, it's just, kids are inspiring. For me? Yeah. Well, my kids know what I do, you know what I mean? And they have comments about what I do. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, that was good, but I don't know about that, you know what I mean? That's what happens with me. And, you know, fortunately, I've been in a place now where I can record at home, so I don't have to leave. I can just go downstairs and do my thing. And that's what it is. And everybody around me keeps it 100% honest, and that's what I love. Yeah, I mean, you have to make certain sacrifices when you're in this business, especially when you're in the studio and you're making records, but it really comes down to a balancing act, you know, and everybody has to understand that, okay? I'm here, and I've always made time. It's just like, when I was heavily recording, I would work 5 days, and I would always take at least 2 days off, usually Saturday and Sunday. But it's a balancing act. Because you don't want to, you know, have a disconnect away from your wife and kids, you know? So I always try to maintain that thing. Let me tell you something, these kids are so smart. I'm terrified of them asking me a question, you know what I mean? You know, Jimmy has this thing in his backyard for the students every year, and I'm walking around and the kids are coming up asking questions, and I'm like, man, I hope nobody asks me the square root of There's a certain mystique that gets destroyed, you know? I like the mystique. I like waiting. I don't need anybody to know where I am every minute or what I'm doing or what I'm about to do. There's a certain mystique that came along with music that was entertaining to wait to see what was about to happen, or, you know what I mean? Every artist shouldn't try to hold like that thing or try to be a role model or go out. Just create art, man. Just create art. From my perspective, I'm just trying to make people feel good and inspire. You know, that's my way of delivering my art. I'm not trying to tell you who you should represent politically or, you know, which religion you should be involved in, or I think that's just, for me personally, is nonsense. I just want to create art and make people happy and inspired. The thing that I like to leave is, you know, kids to look up to me that grew up in similar places, like the place that I grew up, and say I can do that as well. Because, you know, my ice is no colder than yours, you know? If I can do what you can do, that's my thing, you know? I don't think I'm better than anybody. You know, I feel like there are producers and musicians out there that are much better than me, that if they have the same drive, they can do even bigger and better things that I've done in my career. There's some kid somewhere right now that could be the next Dr. Dre or Jimmy Iovine that can come out and just do some amazing things that we would have never even thought about. So, you know, I guess that's what I would say my legacy would be, but that's what I would like my legacy to be. We are living proof that this thing right here can work.
That's right.
Trust me.
That's right. We both came from racially challenged neighborhoods.
We are happy.
Racially charged, rather.
We are happy, and we've done legendary shit. For me, the words that come to mind are pain in the ass. You know, it's just, I never liked school, but I understand the possibilities that it can create, you know? So, fortunately for me, I was able to build a life and career without it. There was
nothing there that I really wanted to learn. I mean, of course I wanted to learn math and reading and all that, but I'm an artist. And there, you know, in Compton, in my particular high school, there was nothing there available, you know. This thing that, I mean, of course I finished. I went to college for 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks.
Now we're building high schools.
And I feel like that was too long. But, you know, but I do feel like it's necessary, and like I said, for most, it's necessary. And these kids can go on and do some really, really amazing things, and I'm glad to be a part of that.
That particular record, man, that's like I would say the toughest record that I recorded in my career, because, you know, it was right after my separation with Ruthless, and I was in survival mode. And, you know, going from that to the organization that I went to, you know, and all the things that were happening in the studio during the making, it was crazy, you know. During that process, my house burned down. I was shot in the legs, you know what I mean? And I was in the studio on crutches for a couple of weeks, you know? So it was a lot that went into that record. It was blood, sweat, and beers that went into it, you know what I mean? And so that's one of those records that I don't even listen to anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't.
Is it emotional? Do you listen? Like why
you know,
not?
I just don't really like being taken back to that era.
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
I hear you. What was it like, Dre, when you first knew of the guy that we know as Snoop Dogg? Like what brought you to Snoop?
It was incredible. It was incredible. My baby bro Warren G.
Yes, sir.
He actually brought me a cassette tape, and we were at a bachelor party, and I popped it in and listened to it like, whoa, I need to meet him. And what it was the way he said his words and his voice. You know, I really like working with artists that have interesting voices. If you notice, most of the artists I've worked with, you'll know their voice as soon as you hear them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that really turned me on.
Man, and with Snoop, when you guys get into the studio, did you know that did it feel like you were making history, or did it feel like you were just making a record?
No, it just felt like we were making something exceptional. You know, yeah, just a moment. You know what I mean? Like most of these records that I've made are just for that moment. You know, N.W.A. records, they're just for that moment. You know, so you know, and that's how I treat it. I never go back and listen to the records. I've never listened to any of my records. You know, once they come out, it's business.
Really though.
Yeah.
So when you even got to perform, do you have to go back and listen to it and okay?
Yeah, I have to go back and definitely have to go back and listen and learn the lyrics again and what have you. So, you know, it's a process.
What did you hear in Eminem that made Dr. Dre, who we know from N.W.A, Dr. Dre we know from Compton, you know what I'm saying? Dr. Dre that we know from The Chronic. What made you hear something in Eminem where you say, man, it's this Caucasian rapper out of Detroit?
Well, first of all, I didn't know he was Caucasian when I heard it. You know what I'm saying? When I heard it the first time, I just loved the delivery. I love his concepts and what he was talking about, because it was just crazy. You know what I mean? I found out a couple of days later that he was a white cat. You know what I mean? Right. So then I'm like, wow, I got to meet him. I got to meet him. You know, this is amazing. And everybody around me at that time was trying to talk me out of working with him. You know what I mean? Man. Every single person around me was like, "Listen, man, this is a white boy. You're getting ready to ruin your career right when we get the label started," because that was at the beginning of Aftermath. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I just had to go with my gut. Man. I'm like, he's that hot. People are going to get into it because it's that good. That was the first 10 minutes.
Good Lord, have mercy.
Yeah, you know, I had this sample ready because I thought it was something that he would sound good on. I pushed the sample, I pushed the play on the drum machine, and he just immediately started with the hi, my name is, that whole thing, and bam, that was it. And we recorded 4 songs that first night, and 3 of them went on his first album.
Man, were you ever concerned about Eminem's lyrics back in the days? Were you or you just let him be the artist?
He made my eyebrows go up a couple of times.
Mine too, and I wasn't even next to y'all. I'm like, man, you sure you want to say this?
What did you say about your mother, man?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, man, you know, your mom may hear this record, Eminem.
Right.
You know, what's your relationship like now? You and
we're the best of friends, man.
That's dope,
yeah,
man.
Absolutely.
That's dope. And you get a chance to see someone grow as a person also.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's got to be great when you see trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? And then with somebody like, okay, I think he's in a good place. Is Eminem in a good place right now?
He's happy. Oh, man, I was getting ready to say he's happy as shit right Not really. You know what I mean? It became that, you know. This was a record. This is actually one of the few times where the lyrics were written before the track. So we had to, Eminem actually wrote that. He came in and was like, I got this song I wrote for you. So we had the problem of trying to figure out what the track was going to be to the lyrics, and it was a little bit difficult because I'm not doing it that way. But we made it happen.
What brought you to Kendrick Lamar? What did you hear where you was like, man, I hear it in this guy also?
You know, believe it or not, Paul Rosenberg, Eminem's manager, is the one that put me on. I was in Detroit, and he's like, you got to hear this kid from Compton. So I went online, and the thing that really turned me on at the beginning was the way he spoke during the interview. It wasn't even the music at first. It was just the way he spoke and the way he showed his passion for music. You know what I mean? It was something in that. And then I got into the music and really realized how talented he was, you know?
You know, how was it working with Pac, man? Because you would hear like, oh, okay, Pac could come in and record X amount of songs in one night.
No, that's very true. What he would do is he would just come in and go in the mic booth and just sit in the mic booth and you just put up a track, and rap through it, put up another one. And he'll maybe do like 3 or 4 songs before he comes out of the booth. Come out, rest for a while, and go back in and do it again.
How magical did that moment feel, or when you look at it in hindsight, like how magical is that record too?
I mean, it was incredible. I mean, Roger, we actually recorded that in the same room where we did G Thing at my house. And I just remember him performing it like he was performing in front of 10,000 people in the mic booth. His hand was up and he was in it, you know. And he just did 3 tracks throughout the entire song, and that was it.
You know what I'm saying?
The whole ratchet thing, I think it was fun, but it just didn't have the substance that I appreciate in music. You know, if you hear it at a club or something, you appreciate it because it's fun, it's loud, and what have you. But as far as the substance in hip hop, Kendrick is bringing us back to that.
Did you get a chance to hear a lot of To Pimp a Butterfly before we had a chance to hear?
Yeah, I did. I went over to the studio and he played me a lot of the album, and I'm just like, wow, this is incredible.
Man,
it's incredible.
So you still impressed. You're like, man, like this is it. I'm pretty sure that means something to someone.
Yeah, not only am I impressed, it's like making me want to go back and get on my grizzle. You know what I mean? I got to get back in the studio myself.
Do a few titles, and I had a lot of help, you know. It was just a couple of legal problems that we had with the title Chronic and what have you. So it's all good. I'm not really that concerned with what's on the outside and the packaging and all that. I'm really concerned with what comes through the speakers.
The record business, it's exactly what it is. Record business. And you have to take care of both, or they won't take care of you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, most people get into this, and I was the same way. I got into it just wanting to make music. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really give a damn about the business part of it. I was trusting people, trusting that they would handle my business the way it was supposed to be handled, and you get fucked like that. So, you know, you got to be on top of your own business.
Her idea of what my future was going to be didn't agree with my idea, so I decided to leave and go spend some time at my aunt's house, which happened to live 2 houses down from Cube, and that's how we met. And you know, we used to make mixtapes and do different things in the garage and what have you. And what we would do was take popular songs at the time, and Cube would change the lyrics and make them dirty. Craziest part about this revolution that we started is this album, Straight Outta Compton, was only done in 6 weeks, 5 days a week studio time, you know what I mean? At 3 hours a day, you know? So it was crazy how this happened, and it just let me know how powerful I could be. I'm like, damn, if people are buying this, wait till I really get a chance to get in the studio on some real equipment with some real time. I was one of 18 kids picked out of 3,000 to go to Juilliard, so that tells you a little bit about what his talent is and what his capabilities are, but he's doing an amazing job. But overall, the movie is just freaking me the out sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just weird watching my character being portrayed, but it's a really cool thing. Around the set, it's just been all love. We've been in some really, really rough areas in Compton and the South Central, and it's just been nothing but love, man. And I really appreciate that, you know. And we're gonna make the city proud because this movie is gonna be something that's incredible, and I'm excited about it. With Easy, it was really important to me that we got his story right and we represented him in the right way. You know what I mean? I've read some things where people were saying that we might be attacking or something like that. That's just stupid. You know what I mean? Easy was a very close friend of ours. we've gotten comments from his family and they've actually been on set, you know. I actually wanted to be here to make sure I gave it the right energy, to make sure everybody knew that I was serious and I'm really behind what we're doing here. I also wanted to make sure that these certain intricacies don't get missed or skipped, because no matter how many stories we tell and no matter what the script is, when you start shooting it, there might be like small little things that you would only know if you were there that matters in the movie. So I was here for that as well. At change, but it was like really minor things. M taking the knee, that was M doing that on his own, and there was no problem with that. I think, you know, the beginning of Kendrick's set, he says if Pyrus and Crips they had a problem with that, so we had to take that out. No big deal, we get it. But all in all, everybody came in, we were professional, everybody was on time, and everybody really felt the magnitude of what this thing was and what we were going to be able to accomplish. And it was a fantastic.
The most talented people I worked with, you know, in the studio. He was real fast in the studio and knew exactly what he wanted. You know, he was a good producer. Also, a good actor. You know, you can't find that. You know, you can't find somebody that can really rhyme, get in the studio and get down, and also be a good actor. You know, that's rare. You know, so that was a great loss to the entertainment business.
Yeah. What about you personally? What was your relationship like? Because I know he was saying some harsh things about you.
Yeah, personally, there was nothing there between me and Tupac. There was nothing there, you know. What he was saying about me was all hype because he knows absolutely nothing about me except what he hears and reads. You know, we've never hung out. We never even went to dinner. You know, only place we've been together at is in the studio and on the video set. That's it.
Straight up, it's a straight up job. It's not everything that you see in videos, you know. Most people in videos are fronting anyway. You know, it's not about that. It's about what goes on in here. You know, that's what it's all about. Coming in here, having some fun with your art, making some music, and putting it out there, hoping that people are going to buy it. That's the whole fun about it. Because no matter how hard you work in the studio, no matter what you do, you don't know if people are going to dig it.
We're here strictly for the kids and trying to give them a future and something promising that maybe wasn't available before now. So that is our intent.
Yeah, I feel like the gangsta rap era is over, you know. It's time for a switch, you know. Been there, done that. It's time for something else. You just can't, you know, use profanity on a record these days and sell millions. It's not gonna happen, you know. You have to come with some skills, you have to come with some substance, you know. Whether it be tracks or vocally, you know, has to be something there. It wasn't a large part of what I was doing, you know. I don't think it was, you know. I can do records just as good, if not better, without using any profanity, you know. It doesn't matter. It was just, that's what we wanted to do at the time, you know. So now I'm on to new and better things. A lot of people talk about keep it real, this and that. I mean, what's real is what you want to do. Quite a few mistakes, actually, and just picking the people I wanted to do business with, you know. But I consider them positive mistakes because I learned a lot from those mistakes. And like I said in a couple of other interviews, you go through the worst times of your life before you get to the best times. And right now, it's all gravy. I'm feeling real good.
Did you know first off, what was the relationship with 50? How did you grab 50?
You know what? Eminem.
Damn.
He introduced me to 50, and 50 was incredible when we were in the studio together for the first time. I mean, you know, we decided that I was going to do half of the first album and Eminem would do the other half. Mm-hmm. And my experience working with 50, it was only about 7 days in the studio. I spent 7, maybe no more than 9 days, I'm not sure, for my entire half. You know what I mean?
Damn.
I would put up a track, he would write it, spit it, and go, yo, put up another one, put up another one, put up another one. And that was it.
Wasn't that amazing? Is this 30-minute time with Dr. Dre enough for you to chase and go after your dreams? Will you also follow Dr. Dre's rules to success? Will you give the same effort, time, and commitment to get where you want to be? Let us all learn from Dr. Dre to love what we do. Be committed to whatever you dream of. Don't let distractions hinder you from being the great version of yourselves, and to always be grateful. Appreciate what others do for you. Love your family and everyone around you. So, please don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comment section below. We will be happy to read your thoughts. That's it for today's video, Manna Member. Remember to subscribe to our channel, and if you feel like we've delivered value, please share this video with one person. That's right, just one person, as a token of your appreciation for the hard work we put into making content that educates and helps you on your mission of building your own fortune. Remember, you can watch video after video, but it isn't until you actually take action that you'll start to see results. See you soon!